Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tatum. I'm the founder of Guardian Voice of the Missing. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to comment, share anything that you want. Again, I would like everybody to make sure that you remain respectful because we do have family members that are out here that are watching the podcast and are involved in the podcast. So please, keep everything respectful. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm been updating a lot of flyers, busy working on cases and stuff and with the families as well. So please feel free to comment any questions that you have. The family members that are out here, you guys are always welcome to make comments, answer any questions as well. So I am going to go ahead and get started this morning. Shout out to Allison. I'm glad that you're here today. Allison is the founder of the Missing Persons Alert nationwide. I help her out as well as she helps me out with missing person stuff and all of our platforms that we have going on. So always a good place for you guys to share. She not only has two main pages, but she also has individual pages for every one of the states, including like Puerto Rico and stuff like that. So she is definitely a good advocate to get a hold of to share your guys' cases. So the first case that I'm going to start out with, you guys know that I share this every week. I'm very passionate on helping the family get her located, especially her two children. This is Dana Jane Bruce. She's missing out of Sedalia, Missouri on October 4, 2008. She was 23 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 39. 5'2". She was 98 pounds, brown hair, and she had green hazel eyes. She is blind in her left eye. She has both of her ears pierced. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. As you can see pictured in there, there is a tattoo that she had on her upper left arm of a teddy bear with wings and has that banner with the name Dylan. She was last seen wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel on the front of it in silver lettering and blue jeans, leaving her children's babysitting home where she had them because she was going out for the first time since she had her children out to the anniversary party at Malone's Bar there on Main Street there in Sedalia. She had been hanging out with this young man that was driving a late model red Ford F1 pickup earlier in the night, but they had went to drop off money for the babysitter to continue to watch her children throughout the night around 11:30 p.m. Police have identified that man that she was seen with. He was a contractor that was working there in Sedalia, but he was from Atlanta, Georgia. Police have questioned him after he had been arrested on unrelated charge of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. He has never been named public, but police are calling him a person of interest. He said that Dana and him had parted ways after they had left the bar and he had never seen her again. It is known that Dana did leave with two other individuals that are known to the Sedalia area in a red pickup truck. There's also a lot of information that I have shared with you guys on this case. In case you missed the podcast last week, let me get you a little bit updated. It's interesting the fact that people were looking for pig farms. They were checking out books underneath other family members' names about how to dispose of bodies. We've had several people that have failed lie detector cases or lie detector tests in her case. Also, the simple fact that there has been someone that written out a statement about what happened that night to Dana, yet the police have not called that, really use that information. You guys know that I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement. There's a lot of great detectives out there, police officers, agencies out there. But, if you have CIs that are working with you, you cannot allow them to commit crimes. I will tell you in Dana's case, it's very well known that the people that were closest to her know about what happened to Dana that night. They have information. We're not going to stop looking for her. It'll be 16 years in October. She just turned 39 last week. My biggest thing is her children deserve to have a right to know where their mother is. Dana had left behind all of her belongings. She doesn't have bank accounts. She didn't have credit cards, a phone, or a vehicle. However, that day she had signed a contract for a new place for her and her children to leave. Everything points that she would never leave on her own accord. She was always with the children. This is the first time that she had went out since they were born and they were younger. They were around 2 and 4, I believe, when she went missing. And again, she was a very devoted mother. She would never leave and abandon them, despite what people are saying. Foul play is suspected in her disappearance. There is a reward that is being offered. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-826-8100. There's also private investigators that are involved in her case. And for the people out there that have information, I hate to tell you, out of your group, people are talking. And anybody that knows anything or was there that night, you are associated with her disappearance. So at this time, it would probably be in your best interest, if you are not the one talking in her case, that it is time for you to come forward and talk about it, because all the facts are out there. All the information is out there, and it's all a matter of time before we will be bringing Dana home back to her children so they can know what happened to their mother that night when she had left them at the babysitter with every intention to come home and pick them up. One thing that I will tell you, there was a podcast where there was a podcaster that wanted to victim blame that, you know, Dana for going out for that night. Totally intolerable. You know, everybody deserves to have a right to go out once in a while, a parent. You know, but to say that a person went missing and it's their fault they went missing, when there's more than enough evidence out there that suggests foul play in her disappearance. You know, there's video coverage, there's written statements out there, there's people that are coming forward. There is new information out on the case about what happened even after she had went to that home. That is something I'm not at liberty to share. Just know that she did not deserve what happened to her that night. Again, those facts are out there. I'm very aware that people in this case are watching my podcast. I'm very aware they're trying to see what I know, what I'm going to give out. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's time to be nervous. And I know you're nervous and I know you're worried. But out of your group, it's suspicious that someone was living on the East Coast and all of a sudden had to suddenly relocate. I probably wouldn't trust that individual that's in your group. The fact of the matter that, you know, people are coming forward and talking, you know, checking out books under different family members' names. And this, and the fact that you guys will stand up during like her vigils and stuff like that, her candlelight stuff, and act like you don't know where she is and what happened to her is horrible. But the time is coming. It's all a matter of time. Everything is in place. All the facts are out there. It's just a matter of time. And like I said, out of your group, people are talking. So I really wouldn't trust the people that you're around. Secondly, for the confidential informants that are involved, you have no right to continue to commit crime. The law enforcement that is allowing that, shame on you. And it's just a matter of time before everybody that's involved, all the way up, the story is out. And it's just a matter of time before we find her and justice will be served. And that's all that I want, is for her children and her loved ones to have some peace and some closure about what happened to this devoted mother to her children. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Chris. Thank you. Finding Brenda is here. We will be covering her again. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carrie. I'm glad that you guys are all here. We will be sharing your guys' cases as well. This is a new case that I had an individual come to me that was very close to her, had reached out. This is Emily Nicole Ibarra. She's missing out of Dodge City, Kansas on January 12, 2023. She was 24 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 26. 5'5", 200 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. Emily was last seen on South High Rise Apartments in Dodge City, Kansas. She has not been seen or heard from since. There's very little information on her case. I do know that she was struggling and had been in recovery with substance abuse, as well as she was in a relationship with a gentleman at that time, as well as her disappearance, that there is some concern that the foul play in Emily's disappearance. If you have any information regarding Emily's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call Dodge City, Kansas Police Department at 620-227-5400. 4646, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017. Again, Emily has a lot of loved ones out there that are concerned, whether it's friends, family, what has happened to her. She, you could see that she was very much involved in her recovery world. But I do know that she had, some issues that had gone on at the time of her disappearance. So, again, she was probably not in the best of relationships from what I've been told, but still, she needs to be found and located. It's not like her to not have contact with somebody, even if she had relapsed or anything like that. It's not like her to not have contact. And that's very important in all these cases. Even the cases that we cover that are about homeless people, a lot of homeless people still have contact with their loved ones, even on a regular daily basis. So I want everybody to understand the importance of, it doesn't matter if they are an addict, if they're homeless, they're still human beings. They still need to be found. They still have loved ones, and they still deserve to have a voice. And just because you're homeless or you're using, or, you're in certain situations, doesn't mean that you don't have active communication with somebody. So that's what the biggest concern is, when all of a sudden communication just stops. A lot of these individuals are parents. They wouldn't have left their children behind. They were involved with their children's lives. So I just want people to keep that in mind. So anybody that you could sharing every one of these flyers gives an opportunity that someone may come across something to give information, but it also gives pressure on the people that are responsible. Because if we continue to be the voice for these individuals, we continue to keep their stories out there and in the face of the public, it just helps people to know that just because if it was 6 months ago, a year ago, 16 years ago, that we are not going to stop looking for them. We are not going to stop being the voice. We are not going to stop getting information to give to law enforcement to have justice for the cases that sadly end in a tragedy, or to bring someone home that maybe doesn't know who they are anymore, whether that's mental illness or something has happened to them. Because there has been cases that I've shared that people have had head trauma that maybe they don't remember who they are. That's the biggest thing. And I love the families that continue to push to have their loved ones out there. I love the advocates that I work with that are really great advocates out there that continue to help families the right and correct way. Not to get on this again, but the whole attacking advocates, good quality professional private investigators, that needs to stop. Because my bottom line is, when we stop not focusing on what the mission is here and why we're here, and that is to help spread the word for our missing, to help support the loved ones of the missing, and to support and help law enforcement close some of these cases, then we are not doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we should not be involved in this business. If you're only here to attack people that are really doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you need to go find somewhere else to go, because you are not welcome here. You are definitely not welcome on my platform. And I know you're definitely not welcome on other platforms that I work with. So if you want to be that type of person, you need to go on. Because also, we have cases. I was contacted recently by an unidentified case that the group is looking to find them, that there's an individual that has been putting in factual information, and it is damaging towards that case that law enforcement is working on. So just make sure that, we as advocates are vetting, our information, but also, we need to be careful. Families need to be careful what we're putting out there. We need to be careful, just making sure people are safe, because a lot of these cases that I cover are dangerous cases. There's a lot of bad people that are involved. But the biggest thing is protecting that individual if they could still be alive, protecting their families from any harm's way, but also just, protecting cases in general. So I just want to put that out there. If you are an individual that wants to continue to attack people that are good people that are out here really supporting the families, you need to stop. You will be reported. I got no problem reporting people. I do it all the time. But when there's factual information that I have, if I got to bring some of that out, then I guess I'll start bringing some of that out. There's some cases that we're going to cover today that it's ridiculous that people are trying to get involved for glory. They want to put out documentaries about the family's awareness on their missing loved one, and that needs to stop. So that's my little soapbox on that again. Every week I feel like I got to cover this, but I'm just very passionate in protecting the cases that are out there, protecting the good advocates that are out there, protecting, good private investigators that are out there. And number one, to protect the integrity of these cases. I want the families to be safe. I don't want the families to feel like they can't talk to anybody because people have scammed them. I cannot even tell you how many cases I've been involved with people scamming for money, scamming for information, and they've just caused damage. Not only, damage to the cases, but the emotional damage that is being caused to people needs to stop. So moving on, I did cover Lauren last week. So this is Lauren Brittany Domino. She has been missing out of Cape Coral, Florida since June 19th of 2020. She was 29 years old at the time of her disappearance. She is now 33. She was between 5 foot and 5'2", 95 and 115 pounds. Now she did have brown hair. However, it was dyed blonde with some highlights, and it was past her shoulder length, but she also had dark roots. She does have her nose and ears pierced. She has a tattoo, Namaste, that you can see pictured there, her tattoos, in black ink, and that was down her side. The initials NY in her pelvic area, OM symbol inside her wrist, and rosary beads on her ankle. So Lauren had been involuntarily hospitalized because of hearing voices and believing that people were after her. She had no previous mental health issues, and she is believed that she really had people after her. She was released from the hospital on June 18th, 2020. This was a day prior to her disappearance. It is reported that she was last seen at her home there in the 4900 block of Coronado Parkway on June 19th, 2019 by her boyfriend, Gabriel Pena, who goes by Gabby, before he had went to work at 6 a.m. He had missed a Facebook video call between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. However, it is not verified that it was Lauren or if it was somebody else. This was the last sign of her. She had left behind her cell phone at her apartment, and her purse was found the same day at the Four Freedoms Park in the 4800 block of Tarpon Court, where she went often. She did not have a car or driver's license, but the park was about 6-minute walk from her home. Her shirt was located July 2nd of 2020 by the water line at that park. The park has been searched several times. It is believed that that was planted. Prior to her disappearance, she had been actively looking for employment and had paid her rent. She left behind her child as well. This is very out of character for her to just leave and have no contact with loved ones. If you have any information regarding Lauren's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Cape Coral, Florida Police Department at 239-574-3223. This next case I have shared, and yes, I know people are going to give me backlash probably on this case. Regardless of what people do if they're missing, especially if they've done horrible things, they definitely need to be found and hopefully stop from doing any other horrible things to people. So you guys know me. I'm going to share anybody that's missing. That's just, I don't judge what you've done, but regards to his case, he's still missing. Yes, you guys are going to find out he has done terrible things, but he still needs to be located regardless. So this is Carl Leon Nickerson. He is missing from Anamore, West Virginia on December 23rd, 2022. He was 58 years old at the time of his disappearance. He is now 60, 5'9" to 5'10", 140 to 150 pounds. He has brown hair and hazel eyes. His hair at the time was about medium length, and his face was kind of rough or unshaved and facial hair. He may go by the name CJ. He was last seen leaving his cousin's home in Elmore, West Virginia on December 23rd of 2022. His 2002 Chevy Monte Carlo was with West Virginian plates 2RK964 was found burned on December 30th, 2022 on Hayman Rocks Road in Mount Clair. He was convicted in 1996 of first-degree sexual abuse and had served time in a correctional facility. His last known address is not listed beyond Stumptown in Gilmer County. He is wanted by the state on charges for failure to update his sex offender registration, sexual assault, and domestic violence. He does have a history of violent tendencies and should be considered dangerous. If you would come across him, do not approach. That is from law enforcement. Do not approach him. Immediately call, 911, or you can call the United States Marshal Services at 304-623-0486. Now, as you can see, like in his case, it could be one or two things that had happened to him. Did he burn his vehicle to make it look like maybe someone had done something to him, or has something really been done to him? Like I said, especially with this being a dangerous individual, he is reported missing, so therefore he needs to be found one way or another. I know sometimes in people's cases they don't want to bother with that because they feel like they are less deserving because maybe their criminal past. My thing, he is missing. Number two, either way with his criminal background, this is an individual that needs to be located in order to protect anybody else in the society. This next case I have updated. This is Joseph Patrick Bryn. He's missing out of Boston, Massachusetts, November 12th of 1979. He was 23 years old at the time of his disappearance. He is now 67, 5'6", 140 to 150 pounds. He had black hair and hazel eyes. He does have a scar on his right arm, and he does go by the nickname Joey. He was last seen wearing a white shirt with red trim, a green sweater, blue jeans, and a blue Barracuda jacket in South Boston, Massachusetts. He has never been seen or heard from again. There are few details in his case. If you have any information regarding Joseph's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Boston, Massachusetts Police Department at 617-343-4500. The next case that I'm going to cover is Alavajero, California. This is Christine Lee Bogo. She is missing. She's been missing since May 30th of 1993. She was 26 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 57. 5'3", 100 to 120 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. She does also have her ears pierced. She may go by Chrissy. Christine was last seen wearing a black turtleneck and black pants. At the time, she was working for the Northern California Renaissance Pleasure Fair and living with a male who also had worked at the same place. The male had called her mother and told her that she had left to go to the store and never came back. He asked her mother to come get her belongings that she had left behind. At the time when her mother went to get her belongings, there was a book of poems, a sewing machine, and a box of knickknacks. All of her clothing, purse, and identification was gone. She has not been seen or heard from since. If you have any information regarding Christine's disappearance or know her whereabouts, please call the Vallejo, California Police Department at 707-648-4321. This next case I have not shared for a while and wanted to get it back out there. Andrea Michelle Knabel, she was a missing persons advocate at the time of her disappearance. She is missing out of Louisville, Kentucky on August 13th of 2019. She was 37 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 42. 5'7", 100 pounds, brown hair, and hazel eyes. She did have blonde hair, highlights in her hair at the time. She does have scars on her face. She was last seen wearing a light-colored tank top, white cotton shorts, and a Nike tennis shoes size 8.5. She was carrying a flat white purse she has kept in her back pocket along with her cell phone. She was last seen on foot in the area of the 4000 block of Fincastle Road there in Louisville, Kentucky at 1 a.m. It has been said that she was heading to her mother's home. Andrea has had no contact with loved ones or activity on her social media, which is completely out of the ordinary. Her phone and her purse have not been found. If you have any information regarding Andrea's disappearance or know her whereabouts, please call the Louisville, Kentucky Police Department at 502-574-7111. I would like to take a moment to just talk a little bit more about Andrea Knabel's case. I've seen a lot of information on her case. This case is beyond messy with the people's involvement in this case. There's a lot of people that are out there that are putting out false information. There are people out there attacking people that have 100% been a constant support with Andrea and wanting to get her located. All the attacks need to stop. There is a documentary that is out there on Andrea's case. I really think people should maybe watch it, and maybe they could get the truth of advocates that are involved in that case. So I'll put out there one of the advocates that I really feel that has had a raw deal and continues today that I don't understand why people want to keep their focus on. And you will see in the documentary, and that is Nancy. Nancy was the founder of Missing in America. This was the organization that Andrea was an advocate for when she went missing. And a lot of people have been attacking her, saying that her and her late husband, Joe, rest his soul, were not cooperating with law enforcement. I will tell you that I have seen and heard factual information that is not the case. They have turned over information. They have never been non-cooperative with that investigation. I feel that needs to come out. However, there are other advocates that were involved that are withholding information. There's a private investigator withholding information to law enforcement. That's not good. You know, I know that law enforcement is very actively working on her case. There have been lies after lies after lies being told on her case. The fact that her sister only took 10 minutes to take her back to her mother's home. However, that was over an hour and a half. It does not take an hour and a half from her siblings' home to get to their mother's home. The fact that, you know, they're saying that everybody was getting along and it was just, you know, rainbows and sunshine in that case, along with the siblings of the family with Andrea. That is not true. That is false. It is true that Andrea had a sibling blocked on all social media. They were not talking. There was arguments that went on constantly. There's just so much on this case that is out there that is truth, that people need to stop being blind and listening to the people that are covering up the information that they know and are involved in Andrea's disappearance. You know, private investigator of the case that has been federally charged for fraud. I don't know why you trust that person. You know, other private investigators that are involved that continue to attack families, you know, that are looking at charges. You know, advocates that involved that everything's about money. You know, I'm finding out more and more in the working in the missing persons world that, boy, people like money and glory. They like documentaries. They like to have their face out there. You know, I really, truly am a person. I like to be behind the scenes. However, Allison was really good to point out, but you do your podcast that goes nationwide. I do. You know, I just want people to stop attacking people, attacking the wrong people. And I will support the truth in Andrea's case. I will continue to support the truth in all these cases. My biggest thing is stop attacking people that are here for the right reasons. You need to start looking at the people that are here for the wrong reasons. I cannot stress about protecting your guys' cases. Be careful who you talk to, who you trust, who you give money to. You know, I don't believe in attacking families. Do I know that some of these cases the families are involved? Absolutely. But I'm not going to blatantly attack a family. It is in the eyes of the courts and law enforcement in order to charge the individuals that are involved. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I'm not, that's not my role. Now, will I continue to call BS on shit? Absolutely, I will. Will I speak the truth about people that are being attacked and they shouldn't be attacked? Absolutely. I will continue to do it. You will not get me to stop talking and supporting good people. It's not going to happen. In Andrea's case, I really hope with the people that have been meddling in that case, as well as some of these other cases that have been meddling in them, that, they need to be held accountable as well. And I just hope that once law enforcement gets that case, gets people arrested or whatever, that it has not damaged the case, that they can't get convictions. Because unfortunately, just like in Andrea's case and several of the cases that we hear, I'm sorry, those people do not deserve to be able to walk around and live their life while families are out here suffering, wondering where their missing loved one is. And also that missing loved one is not out here living their best life the way maybe they wanted to. So that's a lot with Andrea's case. Andrea's case, I want to point out, I will continue to support the fact that Nancy and Joe were working hard on her case. They were not causing problems. They were not attacking people, and they have 100,000,000% worked with law enforcement, turned over evidence to law enforcement. So the attacks need to stop. And she's not the only one that gets attacked, but that was something that always keeps coming up. Still today, people want to continue to attack Nancy and her late husband, Joe. And I just want to put out here, that needs to stop. It's all false information. If you really go out and do your research, you will see that that is all false. You need to be looking at the people that are probably attacking to see what is their motive. Ooh, well, this is really interesting. Mr. Marcelo L. Aquera, saying that he killed somebody. Okay. All right. Please disregard that. If you are, please feel free to send me a message and you can tell me who you are talking about. This next case, I've shared before. I will continue to share this to help this family. Brenda Sue Sika. She is missing out of Huntsville, Alabama on July 1st, 2017. She was 43 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 50. 5 foot, 100 pounds, black hair, and brown eyes. She did have bangs at the time. She does have both her ears pierced, and she does suffer from severe anxiety and depression. As you can see in that picture, that is some of her tattoos that she had. She had a panther also on her outer left thigh, a female on her outer right thigh, and you can see the moon and the sun and the cross that's on her back. Brenda is a veteran and had almost completed her master's degree. However, she had been struggling with her depression and substance use. She had moved from Florida to Huntsville, Alabama, working on making a change in her life. She was working as a bartender and had been in a relationship with a married man who was named Jim. It is reported that she had suddenly moved out of her apartment there at the Overlook on Sparkman Drive in July, which was reported to be paid by Jim. There is no proof of anyone helping her move, which I find this so suspicious, that no one saw her move out of her apartment, despite the fact that she had some really large, heavy furniture. Her family started getting emails from her saying that she was in Wyoming and was looking forward to seeing them in January. However, the email address that had been used was unknown to anybody and had never been proven that she was the one sending those emails. She has the dog that you see pictured there. He had cancer and he's missing as well. It is unknown what she was wearing at the time of her disappearance. However, she usually wears jeans. It has a rock band logo t-shirt that has like Metallica or Iron Maiden. There is a $10,000 reward that is being offered. If you have any information regarding Brenda's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Huntsville, Alabama Police Department at 256-427-5476. Again, Brenda's case, somebody out there knows something. I just feel like, did someone see her move or somebody move for her? The next thing I'm going to share is an individual that authorities are looking for, not as a person of interest. This lady is not a person of interest. Authorities are looking to see what type of information that maybe Brenda could have told her at the time of her disappearance. Maybe she has some information that, authorities don't have. We do believe, from what I understand, this individual is probably in the Indiana area. Time is the essence to get a hold of this woman. Again, I cannot stress, she is not a person of interest in the disappearance. Authorities are only looking for her to ask her for some questioning on her relationship with Brenda, and if there was anything that Brenda may have told her or she knew about where she might have possibly went. So again, guys, the Finding Brenda page, if you want to contact it and send information if you know the whereabouts of Sandra North Wagner. Also, Sandra is known to be homeless, so she may be in any of the homeless camps there in Indiana area as well. We can check on the Finding Brenda page. They have more information. Also, feel free, if you want to send a message here to Guardian, we can get that over to law enforcement as well. But again, I just want to stress, she is just a person that authorities need to talk to, because she was in Brenda's life around that time, and they're just trying to connect with anybody that may have additional information. So I just, again, continue to point out, if you know her, if you know where she is, please reach out to the Finding Brenda page. You can reach out to Guardian Voice of the Missing, or also reach out to law enforcement, because we are under the knowledge that she may be ill. So we just want to try to help law enforcement get any information that we can. It says she went to Tennessee with my sister in June of 2017. So again, that is, really why, law enforcement is so close to Brenda's disappearance. This individual was with her, and authorities have not had the opportunity to talk to her. So again, I don't want people going out and attacking her. Please don't do that. If you know her, come across her. If you're a family member of her, no one is trying to get her to catch a case or anything like that. Authorities just need to talk to her about what information she may have that may help them in regards to locating her. So thank you guys for, getting that information and sharing that. That information is out there on the Finding Brenda page. This next case is Valina McGee. She went missing from Chicago, Illinois on June 28th, 1989. She was 13 at the time of her disappearance. She's now 48. I do have that age progression photo there. She was 5'3" at the time, 120 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She does have a scar on her back from having a metal rod implant on her spine due to scoliosis. She was last seen wearing a white turtleneck sweater and black checkered shorts, heading to school at 9 a.m. there on June 28th. She's never been seen or heard from again. If you have any information regarding Valina's disappearance, or her whereabouts, please call the Chicago, Illinois Police Department headquarters at 312-746-6000. I've shared this case before. This is Jasmine Giovanna Purvis. She's missing out of Jacksonville, Mississippi on December 3rd, 2020. She was 29 years old. She's now 32, 5'4", 210 pounds. She has black hair, which was shaved short at the time, and brown eyes. She does wear eyeglasses sometimes and will squint really bad when she's not wearing them. She does have her ears and tongue pierced. Jasmine had witnessed her friend being killed a few weeks prior to her going missing. On December 3rd, 2020, she was called her grandfather multiple times asking him to hurry and come pick her up. When her grandfather arrived in the 1100 block of Carnation Street there in Jacksonville, Mississippi, her boyfriend at the time stated that she had got another ride from an unknown male driving a dark blue Chevy Tahoe SUV. It is reported that this is the same vehicle that she was seen leaving the murder scene of her friend she had witnessed being murdered the weeks earlier. Her loved ones attempted to contact her, but the calls went unanswered, and her phone has eventually turned off. She's not been seen or heard from since. Authorities have not released any names of persons of interest or significant leads. Foul play is suspected in her case. If you have any information regarding Jasmine's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Hinds County, Mississippi Sheriff's Department at 601-974-2900. Catch this comment. You are most welcome, Carrie. All right. This is one that I've updated. I haven't shared for a while. This is Gene Carlos Medea. He's missing out of Tacoma, Washington on July 20th, 2017, 24 years old. At the time of his disappearance, he's now 31, 6'2", 150 to 180 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He had left his family's residence there on July 20th by unknown means and has not been seen or heard from since. He does have ties to Oklahoma and Texas. If you have any information regarding Gene's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Tacoma, Washington Police Department at 253-798-4721. This next case is Jonah Walker, missing out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin on June 23rd, 2022. She was 15 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 17, 5'3", 120 pounds. She has black hair that did have long braids and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing that olive that you can see pictured in that top picture, that olive green Adidas t-shirt and blue jeans. She was carrying a large olive green hiking type backpack. She was last seen walking in the area of 400 West Brown Street there in Milwaukee on a neighbor's Ring camera around 2:30 p.m. It is reported that she was supposed to meet up with her father outside of their apartment complex at 3:30 to get her work permit for a summer job. She had contact throughout the day, but suddenly stopped. It is out of her character to not have contact with her loved ones, and it is reported that she may have been lured online to meet someone. She has no history of being a runaway, and it's not like her to not contact. Family has not seen that backpack she was carrying. If you have any information regarding Jonah's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Milwaukee, Wisconsin Police Department at 414-933-4444. This next case I updated. This is Jennifer Reedy. She is missing out of San Francisco, California on July 6, 1993. She was 15 at the time of her disappearance. She is now 46, 5'6", 98 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. That is an updated age progression photo of her. It is reported that Jennifer was last seen there in Redding, California, and may have traveled to San Francisco, California, which is 200 miles away. There are a few details in her disappearance, but if you have any information regarding Jennifer's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the San Francisco, California Police Department at 414-553-0123. This is another case that I updated. This is Joshua Thomas Coleman. He's been missing from Camden, Delaware since March 29th of 2020. He was 14 at the time of his disappearance. He has now turned 18, 5 foot at the time, 220 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. There's really no information other than that. His hair is long and black and curly. So if you have any information regarding Joshua's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Camden, Delaware Police Department at 302-698-9232. This next case I updated as well. This is Michael Andrew Jones. He's missing out of Nashua, New Hampshire. He went missing on January 17th of 2019. He was 34 years old at the time of his disappearance. He's now 39. 5'5" to 5'6", 160 to 180 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. He does have scars on the right side of his face, right elbow, and left arm. He has tattoos on both of his ankles and right shoulder. He does suffer from mental health issues and substance abuse. He had been staying with friends in the area of Harbor Avenue there in Nashua, New Hampshire. He was actively contacting a rehabilitation center, and the police had thought initially that he had entered a program of one. However, that has not been the case that they know of. He was last seen wearing jeans, white sneakers, and a leather coat. If you have any information regarding Michael's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Nashua, New Hampshire Police Department at 603-594-3500. I have just a couple more. This next case I updated as well. This is Michael Allen York. He's missing out of Linwood, Washington, January 1st, 2011. He was 49 years old. He is now 62, 5'8", 145 pounds. He had brown short hair but also had balding and brown eyes. He didn't have at the time a gray mustache and a beard. He has a tattoo of a woman and a face and an eagle on his right arm, and he has a clown tattoo on his chest, left arm, and his back. There's very little information on his case. He was last seen there in Linwood, Washington. If you have any information regarding Michael's disappearance or know his whereabouts, please call Linwood, Washington Police Department at 425-670-5600. This case is a case I have shared before and updated. This is Patsy Dolores Riddens Clark. She's missing out of Little Rock, Arkansas on March 4th, 1987. She was 55 years old at the time of her disappearance. She's now 93. 5 foot to 5'3", 165 pounds to 180. She had brown hair, which was gray, and green eyes. She has scars across her forehead and a bridge of her nose, as well as her abdomen from a cesarean section surgery. She had previously fractured her lower left leg and pelvis. Patsy was last seen by her ex-husband, who they still lived together despite they had been divorced. He stated that she had gotten into a yellow cab number 289, which was en route to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it was unknown if she arrived or a record of the cab fare. Social Security checks were a source of her income, and her checks in March and April were cashed. However, in the following 6 months, were sent back. She has had no contact with her loved ones. She does have a history of domestic violence. She was legally declared dead 5 years after her disappearance. She was known to travel and would visit different places such as Memphis, Tennessee, Hot Springs, Texas, Oklahoma, and other places in Arkansas. If you have any information regarding Patsy's disappearance or know her whereabouts, please call Little Rock, Arkansas Police Department at 501-371-4510. And the last one that I have, I've shared before, but I did update. This is Tina and Bethany Sinclair. This is a mother and daughter that have been missing since February 4th of 2001 out of Westchester, New Hampshire. Tina Marie Sinclair at the time was 34 years old. She is now 57, 5'2", 120 pounds, blonde hair and green eyes. She does have a butterfly tattoo on her right ankle. She had a broken right arm and collarbone previously, and she was known to have long, well-manicured nails. She does also have her ears pierced. She does have a vertical surgical scar on her abdomen. Her daughter, Bethany Ann Sinclair, was 15 at the time of her disappearance. She's now 38, 5'2", 120 pounds. She also had brown hair and brown eyes. She may wear glasses. She does have a U-shaped scar on her head. She may be wearing a necklace with a crucifix cross pendant. Tina may go by the name T. She had recently graduated from cosmetology school and was wanting to open her own salon. Tina and Bethany were with her boyfriend, lived with her boyfriend, Tina's boyfriend, Eugene Van Bowman Jr. on Mountain Road in Chesterfield, New Hampshire. Eugene Bowman had told authorities that Tina and him had a disagreement, and he had left the home and returned later that day. He stated that Tina nor her daughter Bethany were there. Both of their clothing were missing. However, other belongings included Tina's 15-year-old cat, A vehicle was still there at the home. They have never been seen or heard from again, which is out of the ordinary. There has been no activity on bank accounts, cell phone, credit cards, or social security numbers. Tina and Bowman's relationship at time was not stable. Bowman had a history of being a sex offender, and the family was concerned for Bethany's safety. Bowman had served 2 years after the disappearance for molesting his 8-year-old daughter in the 1990s. Tina nor her daughter were reported missing until February 10th. The last person besides Bowman to speak to Tina or Bethany was Bethany's boyfriend the previous night around 11:30 p.m. on February 3rd. They had made plans for Valentine's Day, and he was purchasing a ring for Bethany. On February 5th, after the disappearance, an unknown female called the Keona High School to report Bethany being ill and would be out for the day. On February 4th, the day of the disappearance, Bowman was last seen in his yellow Scat hovercraft at 4:30 a.m. However, after an extensive search of the area, it was unproductive. Bowman has not cooperated with this investigation and no arrests have been made. He is a person of interest in their disappearance. If you have any information regarding Tina or Bethany's disappearance, please call the New Hampshire State Police at 603-223-3856. I know this case is just really complex as well, just with all the different pieces, people involved, and stuff like that. So that is everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Continue to be that voice for the voiceless that we have. Continue to be the voice for the families out there. And I'm hoping that one day we can bring everybody home and where they need to be. Again, I will see you guys next week. Please share the flyers and stuff that we got out there on the pages. And I hope you guys have a great day. God bless.